Good morning and welcome to this edition of Business Basics with Action Coach Campus. My name is Lee Iben, I'm the host, and with me today is an interviewee, long time coming, Rachel Rinner with Knee Deep Solutions in Washington, Iowa. Welcome, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So Rachel, I got to tell you, I've interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens, over 80, I think, of business owners. Yours has got to be one of the most unique businesses to date. So please enlighten us. What do you do at Knee Deep Solutions? Okay,
so I work with farmers, mostly hog farmers, a few cattle farmers, and I am kind of the liaison. I'm between them and the DNR. I do new construction paperwork. We do manure management plans. We talk about hog poop all day, every day.
All right. So when you say you're the liaison, let's get a little more clarity on this. So what you really do is you help them manage, right, the waste that's produced by either their cattle or by their livestock with
Yes.
hogs.
First, we help them find an appropriate site for a new building. Okay. And we help them with the new construction paperwork, and then we manage the waste. And by manage it, I mean, we're writing rates, we're making sure that the paperwork is correct, and we're giving them correct application rates to make sure that the manure is used by the crops.
Right. So then, I mean, so for someone who I worked on a farm back when I was in high school, which was a long time ago, but okay, so and my relatives are all farmers up in Northeast Iowa. So as a kid, I remember it was always manure spreader day. And that's when they would load up that fun truck with the auger thing in the back. And they'd be out in the field and they would just like all over the place, which we all thought, as teenagers, that's one of the coolest things around. So you help them determine those ratios then? How's that work?
So I would say 99% of my farmers don't apply manure like that anymore. I do have a couple cattle guys that have sheds and they still use the box spreaders. Okay. Most of my guys use it's like a manure tank and it has an injection system and it actually puts the manure down into the ground. So it's not spread on top, and it reduces nutrient loss, and it also reduces the odor that the neighbors would come in contact with.
Aha, that's all here in Eastern Iowa.
It's definitely upgraded since then. Not as much fun to watch though.
No, but thankfully upgraded, so that's good, right? Because if we weren't watching, we knew it was manure spreader day because you could smell it from miles around.
Yes, that's true.
That's right. Well, this is fascinating. So tell me, how did you get into this business? What was your thought behind this business model?
So I graduated from Iowa State, had no idea what I wanted to do, ended up working for the local FSA office, which is the USDA farm office. And I was expecting my first child, and we had planned that I would stay home with the kids. And I'm kind of a math nerd, definitely I grew up on a family farm, and a math nerd, and my brain is just running all the time. And so I couldn't do something. I mean, I love being at home, but I had to do something also that kept my brain moving. Right. And right about that time, the DNR switched the requirements for the manure management plans. A bunch of calculations came in the picture. They got a little more complicated. Farmers were like, we don't know how to do this. And so the local Iowa State Extension guy said, hey, I know somebody who's pretty good with numbers. So I started with doing my families. And then it was like the neighbor were like, oh, hey, I heard you did that one. Could you do one more? And it just kind of grew. I started at my kitchen table. I did plans there. I moved out to the end of the garage. There was a room out there. So then it wasn't quite in the house. And then we ended up moving to town. So it's just been word of mouth, and my farmers, they say, hey, this is who's doing mine. And we just try to make the paperwork easy for the farmers because they're really good at raising hogs and crops. Right. And we want to make it so that it's easy for them so they can focus on what they want to focus on. Right.
That's fantastic. And I love how it just grew organically out of the back of your house, just word of mouth, not a lot of advertising in the traditional sense. But when you're doing a great service like what you're doing and solving problems, which is what every business should probably be doing, it makes us grow. And that's fantastic. So how far out do you reach now? How far out is your clientele spread?
I can do anywhere in Iowa. I have a guy clear over by almost to Omaha, and I have a couple of them up by Waterloo, mostly southeast, south or east central.
Okay. And you have a staff, 3, 4 folks, right, with you
I've
now?
got 3 full-time gals and a part-time.
And are they all math nerds like you?
No.
So what do they do?
The gals that are with me, I do several, they're very analytical. We do a lot of double, triple checking to make sure that what comes out of our office is correct. So yes, as far as like me, they're organized and analytical and think that way. I have one gal that her job is she does the kind of office manager work, make sure that the office stuff is running. She's very good at making lists, way better than me at making lists. She organizes my stuff out of my head and makes things on paper for me. Does all the plan checking and then all the DNR county submissions, just making sure all that gets done. I have one gal that specifically just updates manure management plans for me. Works with the farms, update manure management plans. She's super friendly, just gets along great with all the farmers when they come in. And then I have a front desk gal, and she does what we call the soil data coordinator, and she takes care of all the fields and the plans have soil samples. They all expire within 4 years, and they're not all in the same year. So she literally manages that database and then runs all the calculations we need.
That's amazing. I mean, it's a mini engineering type firm. I mean, you're running numbers all the time. Yeah, running numbers in a good way, Rachel. That's right. Sometimes you say running numbers, that's not always a good thing, right? But in your case, we like it that you're running numbers. That's great. So every time I've stopped in, I would say one of your culture statements has to be having fun, because you guys always appear to be having a great time on staff there.
We kind of make a joke that if you have to talk about pig poop all day, you got to have some fun with it. So
that's right.
One of the things we do with that is, I mean, you'll see I have the knee deep t-shirt on because, well, first of all, this morning, what I was doing this morning before we got together is I was standing out in a field and looking at a new site with the producer. And so we're pretty much jeans and t-shirts people here, because we're always out doing things with farmers. But we do print t-shirts for our farmers every year, and we try to make jokes on the back of them about poop because they're funny.
They're right.
They're kind of a hit. You see them all over the place.
I love it. I mean, why not? Have fun with what you do, right?
Right.
Exactly. Have fun with what you do. I love it. So tell me, how many years now have you been doing this?
Well, I started right before my daughter was born, and she just turned 15.
Okay.
So 15 years.
So over the 15 years, tell me what has been your biggest learning as a business owner? The gold nugget.
My biggest learning as a business owner. I have learned to get out of my own way when I'm afraid of things.
Okay.
So like when I started, I didn't do it to start a business. Like that wasn't the goal. It was just, oh, this is kind of fun. This is really kind of fun. So for me, like way back when, I moved in the house to, okay, I'm going to have to spend some money to put this addition on. It was kind of a fear thing because it was new. And I was like, okay, so if I do this, is this going to work? Am I going to be busy? When I hired Alyssa, the first person I hired, what if I don't have enough for her to do? What if it doesn't pay for me to hire her? And then it was like, okay, thinking forward, I can pay her. I know I can pay her for at least a year, and I got enough stuff for her to do. And she's been with me 10 years, 11 years now.
Okay.
But learning to get out of my own way and be like, okay, like step back and look at this. And it's not something that because my first reaction was fear. And then it's like, okay, how's this going to work? Where are we going to go from here?
Right.
So, I mean, and it's gone from that kind of stuff to like, we just recently moved and I bought a way bigger building. And so it's been kind of a growth, like, hey, we got to look forward, and it's not something to be nervous about.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. Any small business owner, their biggest fear is hiring that first staff member for exactly the reason that you said. Will I have enough work for them? And will I generate enough of a cash flow to support them? Because we don't want to reach out there and then have to backpedal, say, sorry, didn't work out, not enough work for you. Good luck. And that's right, because we're all basically nice people, and we don't want to do that to somebody else. And that's what holds us back, right? Now we know that the acronym. Yeah, go ahead.
As a small business owner too, like if you overstaff, you're the one that gets the pay cut. And it's like, okay, how long, where can we be so that I can still feed my kids and we can continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. And how you scale that up, right?
Yeah.
We know that the acronym for fear is face everything and rise, right? As opposed to fear everything and run, but it's more than a calculated risk. It's well thought out, but you nailed it when you said you have to get out of your own way, because you probably recognized right away when you brought that first person on how you were able to duplicate your efforts, how you were able to leverage your time
Right.
better.
Right. And when she started, I was working, I was home with the kids, and then when my husband would come home, then I would work. And so I worked a lot of nights, a lot of weekends, and she came and like there was a stack of stuff not filed. And I was like, you gotta file all this because it doesn't pay. It's for me to file it. And I'm like, I just need help. I just need organized, and because I want to do the work. And she's just been awesome.
Right. And having those systems organized like that just makes everything run smoother.
Right.
Which is what you alluded to with your staff now. How you got that desk person and that soil person, right?
Right.
It's amazing. So what other parting words of wisdom do you have for other business owners who might just be starting out? What is the one thing that you can tell them?
Well, I would say one thing that I'm working on that would be something to work on right away would be to work on your business, not just in your business.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Did I pay you to say that? Oh my word. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
No, really. And that's where I'm at. And that is the growth thing too. And even now I'm super busy in my business. And honestly, I love my job in my business. And that's what makes it fun. But I need to take time and work on my business, because that's the part for me. That's the learning curve. That's where I need to work on it. So
to keep your business sustainable, to have it continue to grow and expand, you need to dedicate at least 4 hours a week on your business, to think through those things. There's like 99, by the way, things that we should be doing for our business. That's not related to how we generate money, but more on managing the business and the growth of the business. Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And your 4 hours don't count with just the QuickBooks downloads and updates.
No, not at all.
Every time.
Oh my word. Yeah. Don't even get me started on QuickBooks. You're right. And all the other little apps and everything else that we have to have in our business to manage our people, to manage our time, to manage our processes. It's crazy. Right. And it's getting harder. It's just getting more complicated. They said, oh, laptops are going to make our lives easier. Well, in a way they have, but in another way, it's one more thing for us to take care of.
Right. Also, talking about laptops, I think another thing that I've really learned that's important for me is I'm not always available. That was a big deal, because I would answer things, and I'm not saying I'm not available like if it's an emergency situation, but just because somebody calls, if I'm after hours now, I'll let it roll a voicemail if it's not an emergency.
Absolutely.
Because I have kids and they're growing up fast and I need to be there.
Right. And even those times when you're at work, but you're working on your business, that's when you tell the staff, look, for the next hour, I'm unavailable, because working on your business is just as important as in your business. Sometimes more so. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Rachel, thank you for joining us today. I certainly appreciate it. I look forward to visiting with you further next week when we get together live and in person. But I will get a copy of this. Yeah, I'll get a copy of this to you, and we'll also put it on a YouTube channel. So thank you again for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Lee.
You bet.